Shut up and sit down.
Welcome back to part 2 of Baby Mac. So I passed on the Mac first out of selfishness. Secondly, I passed on the Mac because I was apprehensive about the company. But those weren't the only reasons I passed on Mac and Steve Jobs. I didn't buy into the dream mostly because I didn't know the dreamer. Steve Jobs had an IQ of roughly 160. Walter Isaacson wrote a biography and said that Jobs in 4th grade tested as a high school sophomore. That means that as a 4th grader, he's performing at over a 10th grade level. I didn't know any of that stuff at the time, but to put it in modern terms, a lot of people had doubt about Steve Jobs as an original. Because most people expect that originals don't look like that. Now, on the surface, a lot of people look confident, but behind the scenes, they feel the same doubt and fear that the rest of us do. They just manage it differently. Let me show you how this picture of the creative process works for most of us. It has been said there are 2 kinds of doubt. There's self-doubt and idea doubt. Self-doubt, paralyzing, leads you to freeze. Idea doubt, energizing. It motivates you to test, to experience, to refine on the fly, just like Martin Luther King Jr. did. So I think the key to being original is just a simple thing of not being so hard on yourself. Instead of saying, I'm garbage. No, say, the first few drafts are always garbage. I'm just not there yet. Well, how do you get there? I don't know. I'll figure it out. Instead of saying, I can't close. I can't win any deals. Say, I always start the month out this way. It'll get better. It always does. That's all part of being a dreamer, an original. Well, that's really a clue to who you are. As it turns out, in the internet browsers that you use, we might see an indicator of who you are. We can predict your job performance and your commitment just by knowing what web browser you use. Now, some of you are not going to like the results of this study, but there's good evidence that Firefox and Chrome users significantly outperform Internet Explorer and Safari users. It's true. They also stay at their jobs 15% longer, by the way. Why? It's not a technological advantage. The 4 browser groups on average have similar typing speed, have similar levels of computer intuitive knowledge. It's about how you get the browser. Because if you use Explorer and Safari, they come pre-installed on the computer. You accept the default option that is simply handed to you. If you want Firefox or Chrome, you had to doubt the default and ask, is there a better option out there for me? And become resourceful, download the new browsers. So people hear about this study and they think, great, I want to be more successful at my job. I just need to upgrade my browser. That's not what is being said. You need to learn to think outside the box. Well, that's doubt. What about fear? Well, originals feel fear too. They're afraid of failing. But what sets them apart from the rest is they're even more afraid of failing to try. They know you can fail by starting a business that goes bankrupt, or I can fail by failing to start a business at all. They know in the long run, our biggest regrets are not our actions, but our inactions, the things we wish we could redo. And for so many of us, when we have an important idea and we don't bother to try, well, I've got some good news for you. You're not going to get judged on your bad ideas. A lot of people think that you will. But if you look across the industries and you ask people about their biggest idea, their most important suggestion, 85% of them say, I stayed silent. I was embarrassed. I didn't want to look stupid. Originals have lots and lots of bad ideas, failed ventures, fallen dreams, tons of them in fact. If you look across fields, the greatest originals are the ones who fail the most because they are the ones who try the most. I see 3 important characteristics in every original I've studied over the past year of this curriculum development: determination, dedication, and drive. This is their determination. Did you know that Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team? He said he went home, locked himself in his room, and cried. Steve Jobs, at the age of 30, left devastated and depressed after being unceremoniously removed from the company that he started. Oprah Winfrey, demoted from her job as a news anchor because it was believed by company executives that she wasn't a good fit for television. Walt Disney was fired from his first newspaper job for lacking imagination and having no original ideas. The Beatles, rejected by Decca Recording Studios, who said, "We don't like their sound. We don't think they have any future in this business." Albert Einstein wasn't able to speak until he was 4 years old. His teachers early in elementary school said, and I quote, "He wouldn't amount to much," end quote. Abraham Lincoln failed in business 3 times, failed 7 election campaigns before being elected the President of the United States. Bill Gates was a Harvard dropout, and every business he started before he began Microsoft was a failure. Thomas Edison's teacher said he was so stupid and he should be placed into another school for slow learners. Marilyn Monroe was dropped by 20th Century Fox after 1 year because her producer thought she wasn't pretty or talented enough to be an actress. Henry Ford failed in 3 businesses before finally succeeding with Ford Motor Company at the age of 53. Stephen King's book, Carrie, rejected 30 times before a publisher finally took a chance. Stephen King is scary himself. Yoshihiro Honda passed over for an engineering job at Toyota, and he left the company unemployed shortly before he founded Honda Motor Corp. J.K. Rowling, unemployed, divorced, raising a child on Social Security while writing Harry Potter, her first novel. This novel, Harry Potter, rejected by 12 publishing houses. One characteristic of every original, determination. Another characteristic when it comes to defining an original is to look at the sheer volume of the work that they produce. This is their dedication. Think of the great composers, the compositions that they generate. The more output, the more they churn out, the more variety you get, the better your chances of stumbling onto something truly original. They had destiny, and it's found in the volume of the stuff that they produce. You think of the 3 icons of classical music, Bach, Mozart, Beethoven. They had to generate hundreds of compositions to come up with a much smaller masterpieces. In other words, the more output you churn out, the more variety you get, the better chance you have of stumbling onto something original. It is said that if you were to stack their masterpieces next to the total volume of composition, the masterpieces might fit into a folder, while the compositions would stack well over the ceiling in this room. That's why our office motto is, throw more stuff on the wall and see what sticks, because the combination of volume of quotes and quality of humans we quote will mean more stumbling into success. Mostly you have to plan for success. But isn't it awesome when something just falls into your lap? Some people just stumble into greatness. It happens. Even the blind squirrel finds the nut occasionally. And many of the great discoveries that we have today, we have the originals to thank. They work harder, they work smarter. No shortcuts to being an original. It is your moments of genius that will define you, but your moments of failure that enable you to enjoy your successes. That is the dedication. That is their determination. And this is their drive. Don't be afraid of failure. Don't be afraid to pick up that phone for fear of the rejection to follow. You are an original, and whether through brilliance or effort, you will realize your success in this business. You can hold your head high and be proud. So when somebody challenges you with a shortcut, instant gratification, a Mac computer instead of the stock it was built on, don't make the same mistake I did. Don't write them off. And if that's you, don't count yourself out either. Knowing that being quick to start but slow to finish can boost your creativity. You can motivate yourself by even doubting your ideas and embracing the fear of failure. Try. You need a lot of bad ideas to find a few good ones. Let's find our focus in this business today. It's called balance. I would remind you, Balance is not half-hearted commitment to two things. It is wholehearted commitment to one thing. Today, let's learn who we are. You are an original. Let's find your place in this business, and let's work together and work harder than anybody out there for your success. We'll see you in our next unit.